can get this to go. Just take it one piece at a time. Okay, so let's focus on the 12x to the negative 3 over y to the 4th. When you have a negative exponent by the x, it only applies to the x. It does not apply to the 12 or anything else next to it. It just applies to the x. So that's 12. I'm going to do this in blue. 12, and then the x cubed goes down below, and the y to the 4th stays. So that's really as simplified as I can get the first half. All I'm going to do is flip the x cubed down below. So let's focus on this. I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative 1 in. So negative 2 times negative 1 is y squared. X squared times negative 1 is x to the negative 2. And then I have 15 stays down because the negative 2 is not on the 15. It's just on the x. The x is going to flip up to the top. Okay. Now, I could flip this one down, or I could just recognize they have the same base. And if I multiply 2 with the same base, I add the exponents. What's negative 2 plus 2? 0. What's anything raised to the 0? 1. So this is just 1. Okay. So now I can go ahead and multiply across 12y squared over 15 x cubed y to the 4th. The only thing left to simplify is my 12 15ths, and I have a y squared on top and a y to the 4th on bottom. So what does that result in? What do I do with the exponents?
2 minus.
Subtract. So it's negative 2, which means it'll be on the bottom. Yeah. Yeah. Whichever number is bigger is where the final answer is going to go. Okay, and 12 over 15 is 4 over 5 x cubed y squared. This is the answer. Just kind of have to take it one little step at a time.
I don't
know
know.
how you got negative 3. But everything else was right.
3 goes into both of them.
It's true. All right, number 2. I put on the test, you don't even need a calculator, just think about end behavior. If it's an odd degree, the end behavior goes up to the right and down to the left, because the sign in front of the x cubed is positive. Well, there's 2 that matches. Okay? If I look at this one, 0, 0 is a solution. If I plug 0, 0 into the function, that is a solution. So it is this one, B. Okay, this one, the end behavior. This is a negative sign in front of an odd degree. So if I were to just sketch the end behavior, it's going to look like that. Okay? Because if it's positive, it looks like this one. If it's negative, it just switches directions. So that means as x gets bigger, which is here, as x goes to positive infinity, y is going to negative infinity. And as x gets smaller, it's going to positive infinity.
I had the right idea when they did this.
Okay, number 4. Complete the table and graph the function. This one, we're just going to put in each one of these x values and, yeah, into the calculator. The answers were
Negative 282, negative 26, negative 1078. I graphed it and then I was like, oh.
6, negative 10, and 78. Now I realize my graph only goes to 10, 10, which is fine. So negative 6,
But, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to be down here somewhere. Negative 2, 6, or negative 2, sorry. 0, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, negative 10, which is here. And then 6, 78, which is going to be up here somewhere. Okay, I know the end behavior because it's a cube. This is going to shoot down, and this is going to go up. So it's got to be, I don't know, something. I mean, it's a sketch. All right, Number 5, this is a subtraction problem. 5h cubed minus 6h cubed is negative h cubed. 8h minus 6h is 2h. And negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. Nope. Here we are. A. Okay. Now the next one, number 6. Find the product. So I'm just going to FOIL, or distribute, I should say. 3x times 2x squared is 6x squared. 3x times negative 7x is negative 21x. 3x times negative 4 is negative 12. This should be x squared. X. This is a cube. Okay. 2 times 2x squared is 4x squared. 2 times negative 7x is negative 14x. And 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Come on, pen. Negative 8. Don't know why my board's acting up. Negative 8. Well, when I add these, I get 6x cubed minus 17x squared minus 26x minus 8. That's your answer. Okay, a lot of people miss 7. It asks for perimeter, not area. And I can't get my board to work here. But if I just sketch a rectangle, get the idea. The length is x minus 6, and the width is x minus 7. So I know the perimeter is going to be x minus 6 plus x minus 7 plus x minus 6 plus x minus 7, which is 4x minus 26, which is letter B. Perimeter, you just add the sides. You don't multiply. Area is when you multiply length times width. Okay. Factor the polynomial completely. And still having issues. I don't know why. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is always factor what's common to everything. 2z to the 4th. And when I pull a 2z to the 4th out, I have z to the 4th minus 3z squared, z squared, minus 40, just 40. Okay, several of you got this far, but you always have to continue factoring. So this is factorable. Factors of negative 40 that add up to negative 3, negative 8, positive 5. Z squared minus 8, z squared plus 5. And that's it. Next one, I can factor a 2 out. And I'm left with x to the 4th minus 7x squared plus 12. And again, I can factor that. So that's x plus minus 4 squared, x minus 3. And then this is factorable. This is a difference of 2 squares. Yep. Okay, number 10, I told you several times, whenever you see 4 terms on a test, you're going to factor by grouping. Okay, to factor by grouping, we just look at the first 2 terms, factor out what we can, which is an x squared. What's left is x plus 3. Look at the next two terms, factor out what we can, a negative 4, x plus 3. We know we've done it right when this factor is the same on both. Now we're going to pull an x plus 3 out of both terms. What we have left is x squared minus 4, which is factorable. So this is x minus 2, x plus 2. And I'm done. Okay, next one, I see cubes. I'm going to think difference of cubes. So to do this one, I have to identify a and b. A is 4x. B is 3y. It's just the cube root of both. So I say 4x minus 3y, just using the poster. 4x squared is 16x squared, plus 12xy, plus 9y squared. And that's it. I just used the formula on the wall. Okay, this one, find the real number solutions of the equation. I'm just going to factor out a p squared. I have p minus 4 left. So that means that p is equal to 0 or p is equal to 4. That's it. Okay, this one, everyone who got full credit on it, I gave it to you because it wanted you to factor, not solve. So you should have written your answer as factored. But if you got the zeros, I figured, that was most of the work, so I gave you the credit. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to use 7, and we're going to go into 3, negative 19, negative 22, and 56. No placeholders needed. 3, 21, 2, 14, 8, negative 56, and 0. So what I'm left with is 3x squared plus 2x minus 8. Okay? I can use the quadratic formula, or I can factor. I'm going to factor using the bottoms up. X squared plus 2x minus 24, 6 and 4, plus 6, x minus 4. I have to divide by 3. So this becomes x plus 2 and 3x minus 4. And my original factor was x minus 7. So that's how that polynomial is factored completely. Okay. Next one, we were supposed to find all the zeros. This is a fourth, so I know, and I gave you the hint. I said you have to do it twice, and then you factor or use the quadratic formula with what's left. So I've already been given 1, negative 3. I have to remember to look for placeholders. I don't need any. So that's 1, 2, negative 7, negative 8, and 12. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Negative 1 is 3. Negative 4 is 12. 4, negative 12, and 0. Okay, when I say do it twice, that doesn't mean find other possibles and start at the beginning. You're going to start with where you leave off here, because you want to get it down to a quadratic. And the only way to do that is to just do this 2 times from the remainder of the synthetic division, not from the original. Okay? Now, I have possible zeros here of plus or minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. I'm just going to start with 1. I don't know. Bring down the 1. That's 1. That's 0. 0. Negative 4. Negative 4. 0. So I'm done. So what I'm left with is x squared minus 4. Well, that factors to x plus 2 and x minus 2. So all my zeros are negative 3, 1, negative 2, and 2. That's it. Okay, the next one says find all zeros. For some reason, there's several of you that read that as possible because that's all you did, is you found the possibles and you moved on. This wants you to find all zeros. So this time it's a little harder than the last one because they're not giving you any. And we know we are going to have to do it just once, but I'm going to have to find my first one. So on this one, first I would write my possibles. Not 3. Plus or minus 4, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 8, plus or minus 10, plus or minus 20, and plus or minus 40. And then I would divide that by 2, plus or minus 2. So I would add to that plus or minus 1/2, 5 halves, and that's it. So those are all my possibles. Okay, I'm not done. I've got to now find the actuals. So this is where I would just use a graphing calculator. I would graph it. Maybe.
Couldn't you have just done it without finding all the possibles? Couldn't you just use the graphing calculator?
Yeah, but I think on the quiz I asked all of you to find the possibles. So people who wrote the possibles and that's all they did, I still gave them a quarter of a point because I did that. But so 2x cubed minus 42x squared plus, or is it x? 42x plus 40. And I graph it. And I need to get a window that's good here. Zoom. Looks like I can see all my zeros, but I have to use one only and then do the rest by hand. So I'm going to use 1. So I'm going to put 1 in. I've got to remember my placeholders. There's a placeholder for the x squared term. 2, 2, 2, 2, negative 40, and negative 40. Okay, so what I have left is 2x squared plus 2x minus 40. Can factor a 2 out. And I know that this will be x plus 5, x minus 4. So my zeros are 1, negative 5, positive 4. All right. I gave you a hint on this one too. I asked, are there only 2? Or something like that. No, remember, if there's an irrational root or an imaginary root, they always come in pairs. So I also know I have negative square root of 2 and negative 3i. I also told you, write them as factors and then multiply. So how do I write these as factors? X minus the square root of 2, x plus the square root of 2, x minus 3i, x plus 3i. X minus the square root of 2 times x plus the square root of 2 is x squared minus 2. X minus 3i, x plus 3i is x squared, and negative 3i squared is negative 9i squared, which is positive 9. Now all I have to do is just multiply these together. X to the 4th plus 9x squared minus 2x squared is plus 7x squared and minus 18. That's the polynomial. Okay. Next one, explain what effect the exponent has. We talked about this. If the exponent is 1, it goes through the the x-axis at that 0. If it's 2, it bounces. That's the effect the exponent has. It means it's a 0 twice. If it's a 0 twice, it hits that 0 and it bounces back. If it's a 0 once, it goes through at that 0. That's what I was looking for. Number 18. So we're given the zeros, and I told you that's what those were, and this is the y-intercept. We had several web work problems like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm given 0, 24, so I'm going to put 0 in for all the zeros. 1, 4, 6, and that's equal to 24. So it looks like A is equal to 1. 24A equals 24, A is equal to 1. So now all I have to do, since I know this is 1, is just multiply these. So x times x is x squared, plus 4x plus 1x is plus 5x, plus 4. Now I'm going to multiply that times x plus 6. So that's x cubed, plus 6x squared, plus 5x squared, plus 30x, plus 4x, plus 24. Combine my like terms. X cubed, 6x and 5x is 11x squared, plus 34x, plus 24. And that one is C. All right. Divide using polynomial long division. X squared plus 2, 5x to the 4th, plus 0x cubed, minus 3x squared, plus 0x, plus 4. So x squared goes into 5x to the 4th, 5x squared times, which is 5x to the 4th, and that's 10x squared. And I'm going to change the sign. So 0, 0, negative 13x squared. X squared times goes in there negative 13 times. And I'm just going to bring my 4 down. Negative 13 times 2 is negative. It's not less, it's the same. X squared can go into 13x squared. If it was x, that's true. Yep. 2 times negative 13 is negative 26, which is positive 26. So my remainder is 30. So my answer is 5x squared minus 13 plus 30 over x squared plus 2. Okay, and then the last one, all you had to do was just plug this into the graphing calculator. Make sure that all of your zeros are in the window. We would be looking for 3 zeros because it's a cube. So I just put this in. 0.2 x cubed minus 2x squared plus 6. Graph 1, 2, 3. I see it 3 times. It's the in my window is a 10 by 10. So I'm going to go second trace, 0, find the first one. I get negative 1.61. Find the second. I get 1.93 and find the third. And I get 9.68. So those are my 3 zeros. And I'm done. I don't need the reviews, I'm still grading a couple from 4th period, so we'll talk tomorrow if we're here, but Friday if we're not, on what kind of deal I'll make you. You know, if it takes maybe 2 points to get to 100, then everybody could either add 2 points or retake, something like that. Okay, we'll just see how everybody else does. Right now, Tristan's my high.
79.5. Was that rounded? Were you going to round it to an 80?
Well, when it goes in the grade book, it'll go in at that, but that's an 80. Mhm. Well, and then I may add points to it.